Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare. So settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gills, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Good morning. I'm here. I almost didn't make it, but hey, I did. I was up this morning early. I worked for 2.5 hours on script structure and then was going to take a brief nap before the morning grind started, but it ended up being a bit more than a brief nap. But I'm here. But I got work done this morning, so that was good. But I think I am reaching a limit here and need to reset myself. I still have a bunch of work to do, and I still don't have a car. So once I get off the live stream, actually getting a hold of a car is going to be a top priority. So that's really a priority. I got to get out and I got to figure out how to get this car. Maybe it'll be ready. I hope my car will be ready, and if not, I got to do something else because this is ridiculous. So we will see. But man, the Tuesday, Wednesday, this part of the week goes by quickly to me. This is Thursday, already Thursday, and already the end of October. Man, it's incredible. As time has been just flying by. I'm bleeding time. This is the part of the week that goes by. That was the part of the week that went by pretty fast. Tuesdays are crazy, and Wednesdays are crazy. Brianna and I were working yesterday afternoon. She and I have started working in the afternoon for a couple of weeks. and I'll show you what we were up to. So yeah, exactly. So Save the Cat is immediately relevant because I was looking at people have talked about Save the Cat before, and I knew there was the idea of Save the Cat and how you introduce a character. I had not read the book yet, but I did find the Save the Cat. I didn't know there was a whole beat sheet built around that, and I was looking at that this morning. Made some realizations about my structure. I was like, I got to sit down because NaNoWriMo is coming like super fast. What is today's date? The 26th already. NaNoWriMo is coming super fast. I don't know how we're going to do that. I want to think about how to organize that because if we all want to write together, I mean, I'm up. Maybe that's something we should do in Discord to hold ourselves accountable. We have the NaNoWriMo Discord server. Yes. Yeah, we have been on full blast this week. I do double. I know there's some kind of trouble here that I was seeing in the chat with perhaps anti-ad blockers or stuff. I mean, I don't have a problem with broadcasting this to other places. I mean, I do broadcast it on Twitter, which does make interaction a bit hard. But I also broadcast it on the Twitch channel. So, there's Twitch streaming too. So, and as more particular destinations get added or possible destinations get added to StreamYard, I can bring those online as well. I think it's harder to stream to other locations simultaneously because it just doesn't work. And it's one of those things that needs to be easy. And right now it's easy to go out here and to Twitch without any additional effort on my part. But those are other options. So let's see here. The Table Talk channel. So Brianna and I were working on Table Talk last night. If you're not subscribed over here, I really would love for you to come over there and do this. Table Talk channel. This is the dedicated channel. Brianna and I have clips going out. Yesterday, Brianna and I got clips all ready to go out. So every day at 1 o'clock Central Time, for now another week, there will be clips of the Table Talk conversations going out over there on the YouTube channel. So even if you're not able to join one of the massive live streams, not all of them are massive, but a lot of them are. Even if you're not able to join one of the massive live streams or watch one of the massive live streams on replay, clips are going out. So clips are going out. They're sometimes 6 minutes, but generally about 8 to 12 minutes on a topic. So, and we're mixing it up. The different types of people and different types of people the clips are about every week. So 1 o'clock clips are going out over there. And then I'm also re-releasing my long form material, moving from this channel over here. And so today, actually, Cameron, the very first conversation I ever had with Cameron. Wait, where is this? Let's see here. Table Talk is going to air tonight at 7 o'clock. There it is right there. I'll give you this link right here. So I ended up having technical difficulties. There was a storm and my power kept going out and my power went out into the stream a little way. And then Cameron carried the show for the rest of the time. So tonight's Table Talk is re-airing the first time I spoke to Cameron one-on-one. Tonight's Table Talk with Cameron. So that's a premiere tonight at 7 o'clock. So there we go. So you can click there. Oh, look, and Antonio Piera says 26 hours are too much for waiting. Well, it's only 9 hours now. Premiere's in 9 hours. So if you click there, you can notify me. Click notify me. All right. Go dive into Table Talk and bring the bathysphere. My hard suit developed stress fractures Tuesday. I was watching last night when I was doing some video editing. I turned on for clips. I turned on another person's live stream, and she said that they were going to take a deep dive into the topic they were talking about. And then about 2 minutes later, she said to the person she was hosting with that we gotta limit this to only 90 minutes because I got to go be on another stream. Like, how can you take a deep dive? How can you do a deep dive into something for only 90 minutes? I sent legal action notice to you, YouTube. Really? Oh. right, we will see. All right. So that's going on. So Brianna and I are working on that. Also, let me tell you this is going on. There is a dedicated cultist channel because I've been trying to get the cultists up. So there is nothing that's live on this channel right now. The cultists dedicated channel. But I'm also in the process of moving this over. In fact, I was uploading stuff, and I believe the first season upload, it's not released on the channel yet. But I've been uploading all the episodes again. We ended up with, I believe, 68 cultist videos. Now, that's not 68 episodes. They're 20 episodes, 2 seasons that are going up over here. So we have a dedicated branded channel for the cultists. It's all been down, but Brianna and I also spent a couple of hours yesterday going through, finding all of our cultist material, organizing that for uploading, to finalize all of that. The theme is going back to the beginning. It seems like. So we were once again working with the cultists. And she, being a graphic designer, was going back and started to rework the design of the thumbnails so we can have a consistent look with the thumbnails and everything over here on the cultist channel as well. So all of that's coming up. I might be able to release, I think the first 5 episodes, they're huge files, uploaded. So if you haven't seen the cultists, we're basically be re-releasing the cultists over on the cultist YouTube channel. I just put the link in there. The Cultist is a mockumentary style film. If you haven't seen it, the mockumentary style film that Brianna and I, or web series rather, that Brianna and I co-wrote. I produced it. I created and produced it. Brianna and I co-wrote it. Brianna directed it. About modern day cultists who just want to worship Cthulhu in a world full of people who don't understand, and it's shot in a mockumentary style. Hey, PH. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. So was there anything else that I was supposed to say over here at the moment? I guess that's it at the moment. I'll put the Goodnight Sword link. I got people who I've got to email about Goodnight Sword here. So I think most of you guys know about it, but just in case somebody's coming by and watching this on replay, Goodnight Sword is on Indiegogo, an opportunity to get it on hardback for another week. Less than a week. Yes. Subscribe to the Cultist. Thank you, James. Thank you. So now we will release all of the video material over there, and it'll have a home. Well, like I said, it used to be that I didn't have enough YouTube videos, but it's been a couple of months ago now that I was like, you know what? Now it's time to rebrand things because I put it all on this channel, and I think overall that hurt because the Geekverse became everything in the kitchen sink. So I've been slowly trying to extract like everything from 1,000 YouTube channels over to a dedicated cultists, a dedicated table talk channel, and a dedicated dinner and a board game channel, and trying to develop a system for each one of those that actually gets stuff done. Develop the system for it, and then bring on other people to help facilitate the system. So Brianna and I were getting into the cultist is a little bit different because it's not something that's going to be constantly ongoing. There's an end point because it just needs to be these 68 videos. And then 68 videos, and then promote it while those are going out. Yeah, I know. I don't know if I would. I think he may have been just a fan of Cameron's and talking about that he didn't want to wait. So 24 hours, yeah, it's not too long. Like I was making all of that. I haven't scheduled Tuesdays. And Tuesday, by the way, next Tuesday is Halloween. If I'm not someplace, I'll host a table talk live stream on Halloween. Doug won't be here. Doug has got stuff with his kids, of course, and and Brianna's got things to do as well. So I might. So that's why I didn't make up anything for that yet. But if I'm here, I'll do table talk. All right, let's go and do our reading, and then we'll take a look at Save the Cat. Let's see. Okay, so I was trying to look at where we are with the War of Art. Well, that's an interesting idea. If the members only streams is also a system that's got to get implemented. Members only table talk. The tradition I was trying to start was watching the cultists. Oh, that would be awesome. Since Tuesday is Halloween night, I might be running a 10 candles game. That would be perfect for it. That would be awesome to run a 10 candles game on Halloween. That would be fantastic. Okay, so I believe we are here with a professional self-validates. I got a little bit more Coke this morning. So let's go ahead and two deep breaths, inhales, two exhales, complete exhales, and then take our sip. Here we go. And sip. There we go. No, actually, right here, I do remember this because this is talking about Tiger Woods when somebody snapped a picture of him in mid-swing and disrupted him. So, oh yeah, and that was our last line right there. The critic hates most that which he would have done himself if he had had the guts. So next, a professional recognizes her limitations. She gets an agent. She gets a lawyer. She gets an accountant. She knows she can only be a professional at one thing. She brings in other pros and treats them with respect. Yes, you have to connect with other people. And in some cases, I guess that's what I was talking about, that what I'm trying to put into place is systems and then bring other people on who can implement the systems. I've been failing at that for a while. So trying to get that underway now in a big way. That's important because it's the writing that I should really be doing. But I need the systems of the other things to get other things out. Create those systems. A little bit more crack this morning. The gaming room would be great for that. I love blackout curtains. This is a blackout curtain over here that's beside me, so I can black out my office and have exactly the environment, the lighting environment that I want for writing. But I can do the same thing with the gaming room. A professional reinvents himself. A professional reinvents himself. Goldie Hawn once observed that there are only 3 stages for an actress in Hollywood: Babe, DA, and Driving Miss Daisy. She was making a different point, but the truth remains. As artists, we serve the muse, and the muse may have more than one job for us over our lifetime. The professional does not permit himself to become hidebound within one incarnation, however comfortable or successful. Like a transmigrating soul, he shucks out his worn-out body and dawns a new one. He continues his journey. A professional is recognized by other professionals. The professional senses who has served his time and who hasn't. Like Alan Ladd and Jack Palance circulating each other in Shane, a gun recognizes another gun. All right. Hey, Charlie. Good morning. All right. So that was our reading. Let's go over here and look at this Save the Cat. It's a Save the Cat beat sheet and examples. It's actually, this is a blog by Studio Binder. And we did actually use Studio Binder when we were shooting the Cultists. Both of the Cultists shows were produced in Studio Binder. Let's take a look at this for a little while here. So this is, what is Save the Cat? Blake Snyder's beat sheet explained. Oh, this is relatively new, June 4th, 2023. So let's see what it says here. Because it's got a beat sheet structure, which I had never seen before and didn't know about. But here is the structure of that. And I was wondering how to bring this into the structure. I'm still trying to get this thing structured. I made another realization this morning that happened to be back about Star Wars and R2-D2 and Luke Skywalker. And I went, oh, because I'm trying to rush. There's a lot to do in the first 10 pages. And I'm trying to get it done because I want there to be the big moment, like Cameron was talking about, and using the first 10 pages the right way and having the hook but I was trying to do too much. Basically, and I felt it. I was like, oh my God, I'm basically trying to get him out of Act 1 in 10 pages. And this just isn't working. But I found the problem, I think. And then I went to sleep. Then I was like, all right, I think I found it. Then I went to sleep and trying to see if I could dream something. I needed to sleep and also see if I could dream something up. So let's see here. What is Save the Cat? If you're interested in screenwriting or currently learning the trade, then there's a good chance that you've heard the phrase save the cat thrown around in one context or another. Explaining saving the cat requires some added context as both a verb and a noun. In other words, Save the Cat is both a book on screenwriting and a storytelling mechanism. Let's get started with an overview of the book, then we'll dive into the book's titular piece of advice and take a look at everything else the book has to offer. And hey, please hit the like button here, because if you hit the like button, then YouTube will know people like it, and there are people subscribed who so probably what it appears happens that YouTube puts it out to like a sample of people who are subscribed, and if enough people hit the like button, then it goes out to more people, because there are people who are subscribed and would like to be here, but the YouTube doesn't show the algorithm doesn't show it to them. So please do hit. Sable says, I'll have to grab this. I think I need an outline with all these scenes in my head, or I won't have a plot. Yes. Save the Cat is awesome. I haven't really sat down where you dream styled yet to try to get all my index cards in the right order. I was trying to work with some virtual index cards this morning in Final Draft. I was trying to learn how to use it. A perfect example of professional reinvention is Shaquille O'Neal. He's been an NBA star, movie star, business owner, and advertising personality. Oh, I kick the dog. Hero saves the cat. Villains kick the dog. Not many people bring up kicking the dog in the context of saving the cat, but they should. It's just as important. I like that. Save the cat and kick the dog. Let's define Save the Cat. For breakdowns and definitions of other writing and storytelling terminology, be sure to take a look at our ultimate guide to screenwriting vocabulary. What is Save the Cat? Save the Cat is a best-selling nonfiction book on the craft of screenwriting written by Blake Snyder. After Save the Cat was published in 2005, it quickly grew to be considered one of the definitive screenwriting books, which means I'm eventually going to have to pick it up. Save the Cat has now become shorthand for a conventional screenwriting structure that can be applied to many Hollywood films. Save the Cat characteristics are a 3-act structure. When I saw that, I was like, oh, a 3-act structure. Well, that's what we typically write in. So let me see what's going on here. 15 plot beats, mostly applied to American Hollywood films. Who is Blake Snyder? Blake Snyder was a successful Hollywood screenwriter who sold several scripts, sometimes for amounts in the 7-figure range. 2 feature films were written by Snyder were produced and released. Snyder pulled from his experience in the film industry when writing what he hoped would be the definitive guide for making it as a professional screenwriter. And there he is. It says, on the Great Wall of China. Several sequels to Save the Cat were written, including Save the Cat Strikes Back and Save the Cat Writes for TV. Some of the sequels were written by Snyder as well, though some others were written posthumously by his students after his sudden passing in 2009. The advice within Save the Cat has been highly acclaimed, but has also been met with pushback from some critics. Detractors of the book point to its advice as leading to a formulaic storytelling and criticize the book for encouraging writers to rely on that which is familiar and successful rather than encouraging creativity and originality. So we could talk about the difference between structure and form, formula here. Something's formulaic may not. We talk about structure a lot. Is it structure or is it formula? Hey, BGD. Good morning, Andrew. Good morning. Save the Cat writes a novel is in the Amazon shopping cart. I've got enough reading to do. I really want to read The Screenplay Sucks. And we didn't finish with the Screenwriter's Bible. I was thinking about that this morning. What does it mean to save the cat? The title, Save the Cat, is a screenwriting term coined by Blake Snyder and refers to a particular plot device. The Save the Cat method involves having the protagonist do something admirable toward the start of the story in order to establish them as a likable person and get the audience on their side. Having the protagonist save a cat can be literal or metaphorical. Here are some examples. So there was a YouTube video, but I guess that's gone. Including a Save the Cat scene near the start of your script can be a quick way to generate sympathy for and attachment to your main character. Some writers and film critics push back against this plot device for a handful of reasons, such as the type of scene being considered manipulative or cliche. Some also push back against the notion that protagonists always need to be likable and or admirable. Other screenwriting takeaways. The titular plot device is far from the only piece of information found within the pages of Save the Cat. There are structure analyses of successful films, log line breakdowns, and a formula for writing original log lines, and more. So all of that does sound like something that we eventually should get. Perhaps even more highly regarded than the titular Save the Cat plot device is the Save the Cat beat sheet, which I didn't know existed. The Save the Cat beat sheet quickly became one of the most popular models for screenplay structure. The 15 beats outlined in the 3-act plot structure model were based on tried and true structure that Snyder compiled by analyzing the structure of dozens of different successful films and scripts. In the video below, we break down the Interstellar screenplay using the Save the Cat beat sheet. We're not going to take a look at that, but there we go. Save the Cat explained. Save the Cat explains Interstellar. For further analysis, we also broke down Parasite, co-written and directed by Bong Joon-ho in the same set of story beats. So Parasite breakdown. The beat sheet was the structure model employed by Snyder's own screenplays, which sold, and some readers of the book have even sold their screenplays after putting the Save the Cat beat sheet to use, though your mileage may vary. Now let's run through these beats one at a time. So what are the Save the Cat beats? James says, my book is going to have a subverted Save the Cat moment. I'm only now realizing this. Oh, these realizations are good. The Save the Cat story beats. So what are the sacred story beats? Snyder honed his 15 beats down to a science, even indicating the exact page they should happen on. Of course, these are merely suggestions and every story is different, but it does provide a clear guide to start with. Opening image is page 1. This is a bit self-explanatory. Snyder states that the opening image, first scene of your film, is important because it establishes the world, the tone, the characters. Pretty much every screenplay follows this rule, whether or not they're following the Save the Cat structure. Check out Parasite's image on page 1 of its screenplay, which is imported into Studio Binder's screenwriting software. Right, the opening image of Parasite. I don't want to roll over it. I just want to scroll by it. So shot 1, that looks like Wonder Woman to me. Yeah, that's Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman, not Parasite. Wonder Woman's opening shots. Shot 1, shot 2, shot 3, shot 4, shot 5, shot 6. What are we talking about here? No, this says Wonder. I think this isn't the beginning. So I think they have the wrong picture in here. Because this is Wonder Woman's no man's land scene. I was like, that's later in the film. The opening image speaks volumes, as Snyder suggests it should. It's struggling. The opening image here speaks volume, as Snyder suggests it should. It's the struggling, tight-knit family who are surviving in modern society by any means necessary. Read the entire Parasite screenplay along with additional analysis. All right. Wrong image, though. Right, we have a disagreement on Parasite structure. Well, that's interesting. It would be interesting to compare those analyses. Very different structure than typical Hollywood films. Huh. Everyone knows Parasite is a Superman villain, not a Wonder Woman villain. I actually don't know Parasite. I don't know the movie. I don't know that. Let's see. So it would be one that I'd have to look at. I've got enough movies on my list, though. Theme stated, page 5. Most good films have some sort of theme. Sometimes films will have multiple running themes, but the main theme, according to Snyder, should be stated on page 5. For example, say the theme of your movie is the power of community, and your protagonist learns this lesson over the course of the runtime. So on page 5, you may have a protagonist's coworker say, Devin, why is it you never accept any help? Theme stated. Here's a breakdown of how theme works in a film, including Parasite. So what is theme here? Studio Binder's got a lot of YouTube videos. And we did like the software. Like we didn't write the cultists in Studio Binder, but we did use Studio Binder to import the script after we had written it, Brianna and I, and then also shared out to the director of photography and use this software to break down the entire script. Well, we use this for scheduling too. So we use this for the scheduling, all the shoots. So Brianna scheduled all the shoots in here. So we constructed all of our call sheets in Studio Binders. This is not sponsored by Studio Binder, but we did use the software. Like I said, we didn't natively write the script in there, although you could, but we used it once we started pre-production as or breakdown and organizational tool. Both seasons. Well, maybe it does. I mean, I mean, that would be its own interesting discussion then. I'd be interested to see how they look at the beats, and then what you guys are saying it's got a different structure. So that would be an interesting conversation. Setup, pages 1 to 10. Your first 10 pages are crucial. Using Save the Cat, you should establish the look and feel of the film, as well as the majority of the principal characters. It's also the time when you establish I guess it's when you establish your protagonist's baseline, what their life looks like before it's turned upside down. The Catalyst, page 12. Speaking of turning your protagonist's life upside down, this is the one big event, also referred to by screenwriting scholars as the inciting incident. So this one, according to this one, he puts it at page 12. Your character may initially reject the catalyst's importance, but by the end of Act 1, they will have sent them on a whole new trajectory. The Debate, pages 12 through 25. To me, this is a lot. This is the rejection of the call right here. So they're putting this seems like in just the hero's journey, it seemed like to me, this is the call to adventure, which they're putting it on page 12 in this beat sheet. But then here, this seems like a lot of rejection of the call. At pages 12 through 25. After the catalyst, your protagonist isn't sure whether or not they should act. Say the catalyst is someone visits the protagonist telling them they're their child from their future, and the protagonist needs to find a scientist in Antarctica to save the world. The pages after should be the protagonist wrestling with this information. That wasn't really their future child, right? Why did they have to save the world? So there's a lot here. That's another 12 pages, 13 pages, 14 pages, whatever that's here that they're saying is the debate. But then the break in 2, number 6, beat point number 6, page 25. This is the decision the main character makes that sets the story officially in motion. Sticking with our previous example, the protagonist gets on a boat headed to Antarctica. Now we're in Act 2. So this is accepting the call in the terminology of the hero's journey. Accepting the call happening on page 25. And I believe he set this up for a 110-page script, not 120 pages. But I believe I was looking as I was looking at it this morning, it's set up for 110 pages. So it's going to be a 110-page script. This break in 2. So this is leaving Act 1 and going into Act 2 happens at page 25, end of Act 1. 25 minutes approximately into the film. Yet page 12 is minute 12. That is a lot. Yeah, right. Exactly. That's 13 whole minutes of rejection. That's too much. That seems like too much to me. I was thinking about it this morning in terms of where what I was thinking with this structure I'm trying to get done for Rabavania. When I was trying to compress basically all of Act 1, what I realized I was doing into the first 10 pages, I still had a rejection of the call, but man, it was like 3 lines, which I think could breathe a bit more. But 13, it's you got to, if you can't just have the person rejecting stuff for 13 minutes. I was thinking about Luke Skywalker though. If Andrew says, if 13 minutes of rejection is too much for you, you would not have wanted me in high school. Where was I going with that? That Luke Skywalker does do other things. So if you thought about the catalyst, and we've talked about the odd parts of the beginning of Star Wars, but if you thought about the arrival of the droids as the catalyst in Luke's life, or no, actually, if you think about, so we got the arrival of the droids, but really, I suppose if you seeing Princess Leia's hologram as the catalyst in Luke's story, not counting all of the earlier R2D2 stuff. And never mind the relationship between R2D2 and Luke Skywalker. If you think of the catalyst is, all right, in Luke Skywalker's story, on page 12, he's going to see Leia's call for help. There's a bunch of other stuff that happens. It's more than just the debate. Now, of course, we're not reading the whole book here. We're reading a blog summary. But he goes out after R2D2. He encounters Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's attacked by sand people. He decides to not go with Obi-Wan Kenobi and then eventually comes back and says, hey, I'm here. So this is a lot of, if it's just the debate, but if it's everything that's between, like Leia appearing and then Luke saying, yep, I'm going to become a Jedi like my father, take me with you. Okay, that could be 13 minutes. You know, because if you're doing a 120-page story, then Act 1 is 30 pages. 25 pages is still pretty good. But, you know, how do you fill the 25 minutes that is Act 1? BGD says, an idiotic MBA expert came in at us four times my pay to hamstring my writing team when I wrote for a digital media publisher. He had no experience writing or managing writers, but he was a big Save the Cat fan. And the advice in Save the Cat is incredibly reductive, in my humble opinion, BGD says, to the point where its utility is limited because there are so many valid exceptions to its applications. By the way, I later found out the MBA wrote at least 7 companies into bankruptcy, including the startup I had contracted with. Uh-oh. So, yes. So James says, I will say this book is fantastic for beginner screenwriters. I still should eventually check out this book. Like I said, there's a lot of other ones that are on the list right now. But of course, there are valid exceptions, right? You know, not everything has to conform to this. We've talked a lot about structure and have not even talked about the Save the Cat beat sheet. We talked about the Save the Cat idea about establishing sympathy for your heroes, your hero, the protagonist of your story. We talked about that. I wasn't even aware there was a suggested structure with it. So that's interesting, because as much as we talk about structure. And it's interesting to see similarities, but also differences between the hero's journey and this. Luke's Save the Cat intro is him agreeing to carry the message from Aunt Beru to Uncle Owen, so he doesn't have to so she doesn't have to climb all the way out of the all the way out to tell him herself. Yeah, you see Luke very sympathetically early on right there. And he's happy to help. So that he's iconic in that moment. James agrees. BGD says, this isn't a book for experienced writers to follow. I 100% agree with you. Phaser Wrist says, Adrian Smithley's ultimate master plot formula goes into major detail of all these steps, plus a lot of other plot points not included in the Save the Cat beat sheet. I haven't heard of that one either. Well, right. This value in discussion and hearing, because it's obviously so influential that you feel like it's something that should be known. There's value in disagreement too, as well. Yes. So even if you disagree with Save the Cat, there's value in reading it. Phaser Wrist says, wait, talking about Kick the Dog. I hadn't heard of Kick the Dog until this stream when James and Phaser Wrist has shown this up. Like opening with Save the Cat and Kick the Dog scenes to establish protagonist empathy in a very easy way. Now I got to work on the Save the Cat moment, but I got Kicking the Dog moment. That's no problem. So you're a character. So, okay, so we're right here. So we were just leaving. So now we're going into Act 2. And beat 7 is when he says that you can introduce the B storyline, which actually, again, this is good because I had not actually heard a lot about that. When I was reading this, I was going, you know what? I hadn't in what we've been reading. We didn't see that in the Screenwriter's Bible. I didn't really see that in the writer's journey as we were going through it. I hadn't really heard about weaving a B storyline, the A story and the B story together. So that's why that kind of stood out to me as I was skimming through here. The B story, beat number 7 is the B story on page 30. The main story is underway, so it's time for us to kickstart the subplots. Maybe as the protagonist searches for the scientist in Antarctica, he meets a man who will end up being his future husband. Beat 8, fun and games, 30 through 55. Pages 30 through 55. This is one of the most amorphous in Snyder's beats. Now that your protagonist has entered their new world or discovered their new power, spend time with them as they explore. So, that's a lot. 25 here. That's fun and games. But I do like that, and in fact, I bet, or this idea, because I do like showing people at full power. Now, of course, this isn't. If they're learning new powers, they may not be at full power in a technical sense. But I like showing things when things are going well, when people can be all that they can be. You need to see that in order to understand, to take that when you start taking things away, taking away powers, taking away magic items, breaking things later on in the story. I think you need to have set up how great things can be when it's all operating at full power. Like you need to establish, well, for instance, Han Solo, how great the Millennium Falcon is. When he and Chewbacca at the cockpit are in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, and the Millennium Falcon is fully functioning, they're really at full strength. So that's kind of fun and games. That's when they're at their best. As far as my interpretation of this goes, with this like two sentences right here. Let the audience see the world as best. And often, I think a lot of people often really like this section, if I'm understanding what this section is, because it's when things are still going pretty well, or can be. I think according to this structure, it's when people things are still going pretty well, and you're getting to enjoy the world, you're getting to enjoy the heroes. And I think maybe after this, it's when some people go, I just want that to continue. Why can't that continue? Why do things have to go badly? Why do things have to break after that? And of course, they do have to break in order to actually have story, because story is about overcoming challenges. But I bet I frequently rewatch different sections of the movies that are in this section, because it's when you're showing off the world and the characters and whatever, probably at their most fun, if I'm understanding this beat correctly, like I said, in 2 sentences. Yeah, save the cat establishes likability, kick the dog establishes sympathy. Likability plus sympathy equals empathy. It's super easy once you know how. I mentioned, James says, I mentioned kicking the dog in the context of introducing the villain. That's how that was interesting. That's interesting. Likability, save the cat establishes likability, kick the dog establishes sympathy. Oh, I think here, I was like, this is different than how James had used the term earlier in the stream. You're saying here, save the cat establishes likability, kick the dog establishes sympathy. You're saying that in this case, the protagonist would be the dog. So the protagonist needs to be kicked. So that establishes sympathy. Likability plus empathy equals likability plus sympathy equals empathy. It's super easy once you know how. I do like that. I like that. Yeah. So the hero does something to make them likable, and then also is kicked. So so if I'm understanding, then Phaser Wrist, when Uncle Owen jumps on Luke at the dinner table, he's basically kicking Luke. You're saying that's the kick the dog moment. So we've seen Luke is likable, and then we've seen Luke get kicked by his uncle, who's his threshold guardian. James says, I mentioned kicking the dog in the context of introducing the villain. Usually the villain kicks the dog, or at least that's how I learned it. The protagonist can be the dog being kicked. Well, now that's true. Okay, yeah, that's true. The protagonist could be the one doing the kicking, and that would also establish them as unlikable. That's doing that at the same time. Yeah. So Darth Vader doesn't kick Luke in the isn't the one kicking Luke in Star Wars, the original Star Wars. But using that more broadly, definitely definitely Darth Vader shows up and kicks a dog early on to establish him as the villain. It's Beru who no Owen who kicks Luke. But you could see in a classic like teen drama or lots of different stories where yes, you would have the protagonist being the one who is kicked by like the bully. Yeah. Interesting. I see. This is a great discussion. This is why these live streams are so powerful. BGD says B stories are great aspects of storytelling to be able to incorporate into your writing. The best common examples of such stories are nearly every episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Yes, they do that all the time, weaving together that whatever's going on. There are two things going on in an episode, and of course, they end up being tied together in some way. But A line and a B line. Yes. Phaser Rift says, yeah, in Stomping Kitten's book I mentioned the other day, Adrian says to open your story with save the cat and kick the dog to establish instant protagonist empathy. Yes, kick the dog is just the protagonist suffering an undeserved misfortune, so you sympathize with him. Babylon 5 does the B story constantly. Once the engine's really running in that show, and JMS is the one writing everything, almost every single episode is 2 plot lines. I do have to do Babylon 5. It makes them feel totally packed. You get to the end of a 45-minute episode and you're like, man, a lot happened in there. It always feels like more than an hour has passed. In Harry Potter, lots of time is spent establishing Harry Potter's new world. So yeah, that was what I was talking about, that probably this section of the movie, according to this particular beat sheet and level of analysis, this is having a lot of fun. Things aren't going all that badly for them. You're getting to experience the wonder of Harry Potter, and probably it's this section that makes a lot of people love Harry Potter's world, because you get to see it. What are the rules of the world? What's different? What's the same? Beat point 9, the midpoint. Hey, by the way, once again, please do. I guess I should ask again. Please do hit the like button so that YouTube will know that you guys are liking this if you're here. So then they'll be pushed out to other people who are subscribed to the channel who may not know we're doing this. So please do if you will. Number 9, midpoint, page 55. I think about that more because it's helping people. Oh, they like my streams. But what it's doing, since I've gotten comments that, oh, I didn't know you were here. I didn't really realize that part of the algorithm. You're helping other people who don't know about the streams when you hit like on my streams and everybody's. So I'm going to be more conscious of that as well. That not only am I helping out the creator, but I'm helping other people who may want to know about what's going on that YouTube is not letting them know. We've been kind of down on YouTube at this stream. Okay, beat point 9, the midpoint, page 55. The midpoint can take many forms. The protagonist may have a false victory they think they've won, when in reality, there's a lot more trouble left. Yeah, so the midpoint can take many forms. Brianna and I talk a lot about what the midpoint is going to be. The protagonist may have a false victory and think they've won, when in reality, there's a lot more trouble left. Death and rebirth often happens here in heroes' journey stories. Or perhaps they suffer a massive setback. They lose a friend, have a crisis of faith, etc. The nature of the midpoint is up to you. All that matters is it's a big moment. Here's a further breakdown of how midpoints work. Take the iconic final shot of what is a midpoint. Take the iconic final shot of what is a midpoint. The importance of midpoints explained. Okay. Another video you could go to if you need to. I was reading something also. I guess this was not this blog. It must have been something else I was reading this morning that said the midpoint should mirror the end. The midpoint should mirror the climax. So if the climax is going to be positive and happy and things end well, it needs to not be that way at the midpoint. Or if it's going to end badly and like you're going to some kind of tragedy or trauma, then the midpoint should be happy. that they should be the mirror of each other. So that's interesting. I had never heard that before, but that must have been on a different blog. But I was thinking about that this morning. See, to me, like Star Wars is the Luke's rescue of Princess Leia. So it actually goes well for him there, and then it also goes well for him at the end. So, I mean, always exceptions. Oh, really? Phaserist says, I can ask Adrian right now if he'll make Stomping Kittens free for download on Amazon tomorrow if you guys want to read it for free. I have his cell number because he's my uncle. Well, interesting. Well, maybe we should read that and maybe have him on a guest as Table Talk. Maybe it's one to read, and then let me go over here to where do I put this note? This is called Stomping Kittens. By Adrian. All right, I made note of that. We're trying to prepare a list of people to talk to and interview for Table Talk. That's part of the system, and I've got somebody who's going to help reach out to different people. But I'm going to do some work preparing a list and like who is it that we want to talk to and things like that. So that could be great. We might need to look at Stomping Kittens then on the morning grind here. Stomping Kittens, a Punching Baby sequel. I found it on Amazon. Cool. The midpoint is a triumphant protagonist false victory or tragic protagonist false defeat. Both are the opposites. Okay, yes, both are the opposites of the Act 3 climax. BGD, you can have successful protagonists who don't compute in the likability plus sympathy equals empathy equation. The vampire Lestat in Anne Rice's eponymous novel isn't likable or relatable, but he still works. Yes, you can. Not all of them have to be this way. Phaser wrist. Also, at the midpoint, the protagonist shifts from reaction to proaction against the antagonist. Yes, I've heard that too. You're fully committed at the midpoint, and you start being proactive. Beat point number 10. Bad guys close in. Pages 55 through 75. This doesn't have to be literal, though it can be. Essentially, at this part of the screenplay where everything gets more difficult, let's go back to our Antarctica story. At the midpoint, the protagonist locates the scientist. But in this section, it proves to be a false victory. The scientist has no idea that the protagonist is talking about, and he thinks he's crazy. In these pages, the protagonist now has to try and figure out what the future child was talking about on his own. 11, all is lost. So this is also a hero's journey thing. All is lost on page 75. The nadir. Nothing is going right for your protagonist. We're really punishing our character with this plot beat. Maybe they lose their mentor. Maybe they're overwhelmed by self-doubt. But then interestingly, it seemed like these two kind of go together to me. Now, I do like this Dark Night of the Soul. I like that. Pages 75 to 85. Plot point 12, Dark Night of the Soul. In these pages, your protagonist is reaching the all is lost point. This is as bummed as they're going to be. They're close to giving up. Maybe they have given up. So right after this is the way that it seems to be structured here or articulated here. This is an event that happens, and then this right here is the response to the event, which needs to be the Dark Night of the Soul. But nonetheless, to me, that's kind of the same thing. You're seeing the impact of the event that causes all is lost or all hope is lost to go into the Dark Night of the Soul reflection. It seems like, according to this is just a summary in blog form. But to me, those are the same kind of things. But it may be helpful to specifically point out that we need to see the events, and then we need to see the impact on the protagonist. I think is why we're calling these things out separately. And this is the end. This right here is the end of Act 2. The end of Act 2 here in page 12. Yeah. Okay. Well, fantastic. I just texted him And he said he'll make it a free digital download all day tomorrow. Just let me know and I'll give the thumbs up. Yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. And we'll call it out here on the morning grind and let him know that let everybody here know that's happening and remind everybody. That's fantastic. So absolutely. That's very kind. Give him a major thank you from all of us here on the morning grind. Yeah, BGD says that's very common in noir style stories regarding the vampire. Thank you, Phaser Wrist. Other unlikable and unrelatable protagonists are JJ, Jake, Jits in Chinatown, and Sam Spade in The Maltese Falcon. He says it's all set up. It's all set up so all day tomorrow, especially for you guys, Stomping Kittens digital download is free on Amazon. Thank you. So everybody get that tomorrow. That's huge. That's great. That's very cool. I love the connections that we make here on the morning grind. So then we go into page to Act 3, which she says starts on page 85. Break into 3. We're entering the final act. This break is into 3 is your last gasp. Break into 3. Okay, that's breaking into the third act. I actually was reading that like break into 3. Is that something to do with the protagonist? Like how does he break into 3? But no, breaking into the third act. Gotcha. The break into 3 is the last gasp. Your protagonist essentially says, screw it, let's do it. This may be prompted by a strike of luck or just a renewed sense of purpose. Whatever it is, the beat that tells us our character is down, but is not out. So this is a response to being in the Night of the Soul. Break into Act 3. The finale is beat 14, pages 85 to 110. I mean, that's a lot of pages here. I mean, to just say, okay, finale. But you do, but I mean, it depends on how you want to talk about your structure, I suppose. This is the grand hurrah, otherwise known as the climax or anticlimax. This is where everything your protagonist has learned along the way, plus what she had all along, comes together in a big showdown. This may be an antagonist or perhaps with their own inner demons. A showdown with an antagonist or their own inner demons. It all depends on the story you're telling, but no matter what, this is the culmination. So tie up your loose ends and give a finale that makes the first 2 acts worth it. And then beat 15 is the final image, which is on page 110. So like I said, this is set up for a 110-page screenplay. It's all over. Time to leave your audience with a lasting visual, something which sums up your story and perhaps speaks to your opening image. Take the iconic final shot of The Graduate. And if you're Brianna, you are also thinking a lot about what music you're going to end on. Our main characters have what they want, but now they're facing down their uncertain futures. Now what? It's the perfect ending to the film. Complete the story arc while also hammering home the theme of young adult aimlessness. Snyder's 15 beats aren't for everybody, and there certainly aren't a requirement for a good screenplay. But abiding to save the cat rules doesn't mean your screenplay is unoriginal or... So it does say, now that you've learned what Save the Cat is and heard of how effective the Save the Cat beat sheet can be, you might be interested in trying it for yourself. Grab a free copy of the template, learn how to use it, and explore several examples of the beat sheet in action in highly successful films up next. So, the ultimate film beat sheet free Save the Cat beat sheet template. So if you are interested, if you're still looking for structure for Save the Net for NaNoWriMo, click there. Oh, okay. More here on each individual beat sheet. The ultimate film beat sheet. Actually, I thought this may have been what I was looking at. So it breaks down earlier. So theme stated, page 5. I guess it goes through it again. Using the Matrix as examples. The catalyst. The debate breaking into. This is probably, we also have a lot of fun here. The B story. Fun and games. Then the Matrix, Neo enters the virtual program where Morpheus teaches him all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah, that's what I think I would have identified according to this way of looking at the story. He starts to hone his martial arts skills and how to jump really high. Having a lot of fun here. That's definitely the fun and games section of this. Even though it's preparing for other things is the fun point. midpoint, how to use the beat sheet template, how to use the beat sheet template. It says, if you know your page count will be longer than Blake Snyder's 110 pages, find a handy beat sheet calculator to recalculate. Keep Don Harmon's story circle in mind as you approach this. Beat sheet. Oh, yeah. So this is the beat sheet calculator and something about 40 cards here. The 40 index cards for 10 rows for Act 1, 10 cards for Act 1, 20 for Act 2, 10 for Act 3, with Act 2 being split into 10 rows of 5 cards. So apparently there is the beat sheet calculator. Oh, just beat sheet calculator. Here it is. The beat sheet calculator allows you to enter the total projected number of pages in your screenplay, and then returns to you a beat by beat sheet of the 15 major points according to Blake Snyder's beat sheet. Enjoy. So if you were doing it in 120 pages, there you go. That recalculates those 15 points for you. So that could be useful to you if you are still working with your structure, as I am, to try to get a lot done for NaNoWriMo here in not very many days. And by the way, so I'll put this link. So the first page we were looking at right here, this is Studio Binder. So if you're looking for this, Studio Binder on Save the Cat, if you would like to reference it. Well, we really appreciate it, Phaser Wrist. Thank you. Oh, I do need to thank you. Mentioned the Discord server. Let me put a link to the Discord server for anybody who would like to have it. I've still got to. We've got to work with the Discord server, but it's there. It's there, and you always know what's going on here. Phaser Wrist says, Heath, don't forget Snyder's 5-point finale. It's also a great way to open up a story to start your protagonist in the middle of action of a previous goal before the real story starts. Snyder's 5-point finale. That's interesting. Open a story with your protagonist in the middle of action in a previous goal before the real story starts. Princess Leia was in the middle of another story. We talked about that. Okay, well, I am still really tired. And I've got to figure out something about a car. I got to figure out a car. I got to do that first. My transportation situation is ridiculous. So I got to do car, Discord, and I got to finish this Kickstarter video. And I'm exhausted. So, all right, I gotta handle this somehow. All right, guys, I really enjoyed the conversation today. This was great. The morning grinds are always at the best when they're conversational like this. And hopefully this was useful and timely because we got to write for NaNoWriMo. The world needs your novel, as they say. So everybody, I hope that you are doing very well today. I hope that you're even if you're tired, you're still being productive, or at least, man, this might be your weekend. You need to take a break. We'll see. But nonetheless, I hope that you are creative, constructive, and grind on. Later, everybody. See you tomorrow.